Hawaii, a tropical paradise known for its beautiful beaches, unique culture, and multi-ethnic cuisine. Visitors often share stories of the aloha spirit, while locals speak of other spirits, chicken skin stories of unexplainable encounters. These are the stories told after dark. They are whispered between coworkers over lunch and passed down at family gatherings. These are true first-hand accounts of the supernatural, presented here on Real Paranormal.
The Civic Center can be found in the heart of Honolulu and has many modern and historic buildings in its boundaries. Some have been declared National Historic Landmarks and have been added to the National Register of Historic Places, while others occupy the spaces in between. These buildings, just like Hawaii's people, are all unique, and every one of them has their own special story.
Seagull School, EEC, is located directly above the Civic Center parking structure. It was opened in 1986 and it has a capacity for a little over 250 students. The classrooms and office are surrounded by lush foliage that gives the school a charming, tranquil feeling. You can see the faces of happy children throughout the day, but if you look hard enough, you can see the faceless as well.
Okay, so my name is Cortney. I've been a teacher for 3 years so far. About a couple weeks ago, I was working on my binder and I was sitting with my back towards the bathroom, and all of a sudden I just heard this thump. It sounded like something fell from like a shelf or something, because we do have like the toothbrushes up there. So I thought, okay, maybe something fell off the box or something fell from the shelf. So I checked everywhere. I checked outside the classroom as well, because we have like brooms and stuff. It sounded something a little bit like heavier, not like the toothbrushes, like maybe like the brooms or like a book or something, like that kind of like a louder thump. And I was like, at first I thought it was like the kids, like somebody was like playing or something. So I went to check, but nobody was there. I checked like the outside, inside, and everything looked okay, like where it was before. So it's interesting. It was a little scary. I was kind of confused, like what's going on? Like, was I imagining this? Was I just hearing things? But yeah, it was kind of scary. couple mornings, like the doors are always unlocked or like the doors are pushed open. Like we have a deadbolt on the top, so you can't really open the door. Like we lock it and deadbolt it, but if you don't bolt it to the ground, people can like push it and it'll crack open, like kind of like a triangle. So one morning I came and it was open like that, but everybody said like, no, we bolted it to the ground. So it's like the teachers shut all the windows, lock the doors and everything. That's part of our like cleanup routine. So I mean, it could have very well been like one of us forgot to lock it, but it's been consistently like every so often, like every couple weeks, one door is like not bolted or one door is like cracked open. So it's like, I don't know if that day people forgot or something like pushed it open. Because it opens from the classroom out, so it's not like the wind can really blow it open. So it's just kind of like, oh, okay. It could very well be. I'm not sure. Could have been a ghost or something. Like, I'm not too sure what it was. It was all kind of like spooky and trying to figure out like what's real, what's not, or I just believe in like something is out there. Something bigger power, bigger spiritually, so just be nice to everybody and everything.
Hi, my name is Rhea. I'm a preschool teacher. I've been working at this particular location for about 7 years now. Grew up in Hawaii, born and raised, so I know a lot of the culture, a lot of the mysteries that surround the island. So I completely understand anything that happens that's spiritual. It's happened about 3 or 4 years ago, so it was probably around 2010. No later than March this happened. Brand new to the classroom, just got a promotion, so I spent a lot of time after school fixing it the way you want it, you know, making the changes that you want to make as compared to what the previous teacher had done in there. This happened right about, I'd say about 6:30 or 7 in the evening one night. The sun was just starting to set. I was locking up the classroom, and this particular classroom also is like in the very back of the school, and you know, if the lights are not on the sidewalk, it's really dark walking through campus, so it can feel kind of creepy. I just start to walk away and I hear like a little bang, like something fell in the classroom. So I turn around, I look through the glass doors, I don't see anything that's fallen. And I think, oh, maybe something on the other side of the shelf fell. So then we go back in and you know, pick it up. And it literally sounded like a couple of toys maybe had fallen off of a shelf and landed on the ground. So I unlock the door, I go inside. There's nothing that's fallen. Everything is in place. And I'm like, what could that be? I turn back around to head out the door, and then I can see our kitchen, which is right next to the front door. From if you're standing outside, you can't really tell, but I had left the kitchen light on. I just kind of looked at it like, oh, turned the light off, locked the door, and left campus. Maybe if I hadn't turned it off, overnight something could have just sparked and caused something. You never know. It was very unusual. I mean, like I said, I walked in, checked out the whole classroom. Nothing had fallen, nothing was out of place. I think it could have just been some friendly spirit, you know, that roams around the school. Hopefully it just saw the dedication that I had towards the kids, the dedication I have towards the school, and that I want the place to be a good place. So hopefully it just felt that and just wanted to encourage me, because I never felt scared, you know, at all. Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind it was paranormal. As far as what I mean, what or who it could have been, I have no idea, but I have no doubt that it was paranormal. I was just like, what could have made the noise? So all I said was, thank you. I knew something brought me back into that classroom to turn the light off. So I said, thank you, turned it off and locked the door and left.
Hi, my name is Maria Mar. I've been an educator for about 5 years. I've been the lead teacher about as long as that, for about almost 5 years now. I would say May, last spring. One of the parents that I work with approached me and said, she asked, has my son been napping at nap time recently? And I told her, I've noticed that he hasn't really been falling asleep, but I just attributed it to, almost summertime. He's been with us for the whole year. That it's possibly that he's growing out of his nap time phase. And she said, well, I'm just asking because he said that he's been tired and, hasn't been sleeping at nap time because there's a man in the library that he's been talking with. He's just maybe an older man, and his name is Uncle Ricky. And most of the time, he just talks story with my son. So she was just trying to ask me for confirmation, if, he'd been staying up and like talking. And I never really thought, he was talking to having an A-B conversation with someone else. So she said, yeah, that's what he'd been, saying at home, that he'd been having conversations with someone in our school library. So I did ask him, when you go to nap, do you still feel comfortable? Or is there something like keeping you awake? And I think he knew what I was trying to get at. I was trying to ask him about this Uncle Ricky figure, but he just looked at me and it looked like he didn't want to disclose too much information about it. But he said that he felt okay, that he felt safe, and he didn't feel that he was threatened in any way. He said, we just talk stories, and that's what we do at nap time. So she was just a little concerned because it didn't really sound like anyone in his in his family or his immediate, no one from the facility that we work at. For this person in particular, I don't get the feeling that he's lying, just because he's just not the type of person. He's not the type of child to, make up pretend friends and, say that he's an older person, or, just sort of give him like such a detailed description. Mostly whenever the children talk to us about, pretend stuff, is stuff in like social media that they're familiar with, like Jake and the Neverland Pirates, or, that's something, to me, it just seemed out of the ordinary that to make up something, that didn't seem very, like a child would be friends with that type of person, Yeah, it was just an odd match. Yeah, that's kind of a good way to describe it. things, but you know, they didn't really ever make me feel uncomfortable. There's been, you know, like a few times where I've been in the kitchen, and there have been times where we've heard things like drop, where it sounded like a weighted box had fallen from like the top shelf in the closet, which is like a 6-foot drop off a shelf. And we open it and we're like, well, nothing's, you know, out of place or out of order. And then some of the things in our kitchen go missing or are misplaced. There aren't very many people who have access to our kitchen or, you know, to our tools. You know, like a serrated knife and a straight edge knife. And there have been times where like they've just gone missing. And we go to the other classrooms and we ask them like, oh, you know, did you borrow it for your cooking day, or did you have a need? You know, do you have our things? And the other classrooms in the building will say no. We'll call around and people will say no. And then, so for the day, we just end up borrowing either from the office or from other classrooms. And then the knives will just come back. But instead of being in the secured box where they're supposed to be, they're in other places, like in the roll-out drawers. Most of the times we just look at each other and think, well, I don't know. Our classroom and the classroom next door, we've had lots of problems with water. I did get a phone call from my boss, just calling to see if I'd be able to come to the school and, you know, turn off the water faucet, because she said that the security had called over the weekend, you know, had called that morning and said, the faucet in your children's bathroom is on, and I can hear it from the window nearest the playground. I can tell that there's water running in the classroom bathroom. So maybe if you can come and turn it off. You know, I opened my classroom and our classroom faucet was off. The adult bathroom was, you know, that faucet was on like full blast, like just like someone had like left it on for a long time, because the whole sink was wet and the floor was damp. So I did let my boss know, you know, that it was a different sink that was on. So I thought it was a little bit unusual. It would be easy for someone to tell where the water was coming from, you know, and they're in different spots of the building, and I'm sure the security guard would know if it was the adult bathroom or not. So it's like a whole classroom away, 2 classrooms away, and, you know, on the other side of, you know, opposite from where they said they had heard water. I don't think it's plumbing. Honestly, I don't think it's plumbing. To open the door, you have to, you know, push, not forcefully, but you have to push on it, you know, and you have to turn the handle, you know, to let yourself into the bathroom. And I had to use the key to open the door, so it was locked. It didn't look like anyone was like using it or anything, and nobody else has access to the classroom except myself and the school administrators and the cleaners. I think it could have been. I think more than not. We do notice like a lot of moths, like big black-winged moths. Just for myself, like myself and some of my other co-workers, we sort of equate that to, you know, like to spirits, just because they're there. So we have a lot of, you know, a lot of those things. Like one seems like normal, but you know, when you have like a bunch, like 5, like to me that seems like there may be other types of things going on.
November 25th, 2014. I'm currently at the Early Education Center located in 985, placing the recorder inside the closet that reportedly has paranormal activity. Just be taking ambience, no questions.
push you to